Hey there YouTube, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. I am a happy camper this morning. I just got back from the curb market and got 4 nice big seeded watermelons. I throw the seeded in there because there's some nuts out there. Listen, I like seeded, but when I'm over on Instagram, there's people that are just fanatic. 2/3 of my comments on a watermelon post will be, "What, or is it seeded? Oh, there's not enough seeds. Do you use the seeds? Seeds. Little whack whack. Anyhow, today we're here to talk about raw food diet on the go and in social situations. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you go down and hit that big red subscribe button, then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Now, the theme of the day on all of this is simple. That's probably no shock to you. You can always kind of assume that I'm going to go for the simplest version of doing things. And let me just step back a second and explain some of the perspective of some of my videos. I kind of hope people can kind of just take a broader point out of them, kind of not necessarily a how-to, because I live an odd life. I have the whole time that I've been vegan, so I really don't expect that there's anybody out there that's going to follow my way of doing this lifestyle. That's why I like to share a wide variety of topics, and I like to recommend a lot of, who I consider credible people, because I just do a very simple version of getting the things that I need to get into my body. But it's not all that exciting, and I don't think very many people are going to eat exactly like I do. So just use what you can. Now, I'm not one of those people that's going to make some sort of production, no matter what it is, no matter whether I'm on the go, no matter whether I'm just out for the day, or it doesn't matter if I'm flying or something and traveling internationally. I'm not that guy that's going to show up with 5 little cute Tupperwares, all with a different portion of everything. I mean, that's if you want to do that, if you're willing to deal with all that kind of stuff, God bless. I'm not. The most I did, I remember some of those trips coming back from Costa Rica in the early days. I just literally had a plastic grocery bag of bananas. I'd take 8 or 9 bananas with me, but that turned out to be they'd get kind of mushy, and by the time I got to my first destination, I was ready to. But I'll get to that, how I use those bananas. Instead of, okay, if you're out on the go or whatever, obviously if you're going out for, say, lunch, or say you go out to work for the day, that's the only one that I have no familiarity with, because I don't go out. But if it was a regular thing, like where every day you're going out to the office, I would just say that you pack yourself a good lunch. Simple as that. Pack yourself a good, healthy lunch, whatever works for you, whether that means taking a huge smoothie to work and something that will keep your smoothie, whether that means taking a big salad to work, whatever. Do whatever you like. Maybe you've got a restaurant in your area. I mean, well, that's not very economical. But then again, I don't know who's watching this. You might have one of them fancy Wall Street jobs, be making 6, 7 figures. But no, I would just say, that's the only one that I don't have I'm kind of shaky on. I would just say take yourself a good lunch to work, and take yourself a couple of good snacks, maybe a couple of good pieces of fruit or something like that, whatever. Now, just on the go or traveling for the day. And then in social situations. When I'm just out on the go, that's never been much of a thing for me, because I could always just pick up something. What I recommend, if I'm just going to be out on the go for several hours, or even like 4 or 5 hours, is I fill up. I load up my stomach. I eat before I go. I kind of plan in advance. Maybe I have myself a 6 or 7 banana smoothie so I can get a lot of calories in at once. And, then I leave the house with a full belly. I also leave hydrated too, because a lot of times you start thinking you're hungry when you actually just need some water. So try to leave that, like if I can leave the house when I'm going to do anything like going to be away for a good fair chunk of time, I just eat enough to keep me going. And then maybe I carry something small with me. Maybe I carry a couple of bananas, a couple of pieces of fruit, a snack. Now, I will use a little bit of Tupperware or some sort of a plastic container. I'm not all anti that. Now, the one thing I will do at times that I find that comes very much very handy, instead of carrying bananas around and having to unpeel them and do all that, is just chopping up some bananas. carrying them with you. You could carry, you know, a simple little container. You can carry 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 bananas along with you. But once again, I'm just not going to get into some elaborate something where I'm having to create something outside of my home, or I have to do a lot of steps. Get me. You come on. You know me. I'm lazy. It's always going to be simple. So I try to get myself full before I leave the house, take something simple with me when I go. And when I go, the same thing when I'm in an airport. Like when I travel, I didn't carry the bananas as much the last few years because it just got to be a mess and I just didn't feel like carrying anything. So usually what I would do before I would leave, I'd get my stomach full. You know, I'd have 3 or 4 or 5 bananas. Not too many because you're traveling. You don't want to have to be doing that dash for a bathroom in an airport. But I would just eat a fair amount to get my stomach stocked. And then that's when I would maybe take a little container of chopped up bananas with me. And I'd eat what I eat first thing. I'd get to the airport, I'd check in, you know how it is. You got 2 or 3 hours to wait. And I'd sit there and I'd eat on some of those bananas. Might finish them, might not. Usually I'd wait. If I didn't, I would finish them off when I got on the plane and they served breakfast. I'd finish my bananas. I would drink water all day. Every time I was offered water on the plane, yes. If I could get her attention, get me some more water. I get to this airport, I get a bottle of water. I get to this airport, I get a bottle of water. I stay hydrated. Usually I would carry some kind of little portable snack with me, whether it be nuts. Sometimes I would carry nuts. And listen, you're traveling. It's not like you're going to be traveling for 50 days. I wasn't all that fanatic about it. Sometimes I'd buy a little snack that had no animal products in the airport. But most of the time I could make it like that. You know, and sometimes I would take some sort of a dried fruit or whatever with me. But you see what I'm doing. Fill yourself up before you leave the house. Maybe carry a small container or something. Just think about like all along the way. When you're traveling for a day, you don't have to get your full everything, all your calories, all your nutrition, everything in. Think of it more like you can play a game. Make it more like survival. Just you eat a little bit here, you eat a little bit here, you eat a little bit here. You just kind of keep yourself going until you get to your destination, and then you can eat. In social situations, it's very, very similar. The theme today is just going to be the least effort you have to make, or in my philosophy anyway. I didn't eat out a lot. That's something I need to qualify right there when I talk about a lot of this stuff. The whole time I've been vegan, I have been pretty isolated. When I went vegan, I was living by myself in an apartment in downtown San Jose, Costa Rica. I worked from the house. I think maybe I went to the office 2 days a week. So, you'd see a few people at the office, but I really wasn't around people. Then I moved back to the beach in Costa Rica, and I was around people a little bit more. I had roommates from time to time, and I had, my friends I would see during town, but there was still a lot. Most meals that I ate, most of my eating was by myself. Flip back to me being in Costa Rica the last few years, and I'm by myself all the time. I mean, I'm almost like I'm in solitary confinement. So eating is just very utilitarian for me. I do have things that I really enjoy, but it's just simple, 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 simple. But the few times I have been presented with that, going out to a restaurant to meet a group of people or going to somebody's house when it's going to be an eating event. And I did this a lot before I even went vegan, before I even quit drinking years ago, is I do the same thing. I mostly get full. Even if I'm going to have dinner somewhere in a restaurant, I will eat a fairly decent dinner before I go, or I will eat something decent before I go. I don't depend on restaurants. I just don't, these vegans, I don't have a whole lot of sympathy when somebody says, oh, I went to this restaurant and I ordered this, and this, and it came, and I was so disappointed because they didn't take the meat out of there. There was dairy in there. And I'm like, you trust a restaurant. I've worked in restaurants. I'm not trusting a restaurant to veganize my meal. The most I will do is simple things that they can't hide anything on me. Like I might, and a lot of times, like I say, I'm just at a social, I socialize so little anyway. The times that I've been out, I'm there to socialize. I'm there to talk to people. I drink club soda with a lime. It looks like, vodka soda. And it's just, I like that. Every once in a while I like some bubbles. So I'll have a club soda with a lime. I kind of fit in with everybody. They don't see me. I'm not trying to do all this weird stuff. I'm not having some fresh squeezed juice when I'm out at a social gathering. So I'll order club soda with a lime. If the place has a salad, I'll just kind of get a salad, just more or less, more to join in and just more to kind of be doing what everybody else is doing more than actually, ooh, I'm very specific on this salad. Daddy, I'm not calling the restaurant ahead of time. God bless, I ain't throwing no shade at anybody, but I just find that stuff cute. Hello? Yes, I'm vegan, so can you go down, let's go down the menu here. Could we take the butter off of this, and could we add this with this? I mean, do whatever you need to do to make you work. I'm not making fun, but that's just not me. That's just not me. So what I'll do is if I'm in a restaurant situation, is I'll order a salad and tell them not to give me any dressing, and maybe I will. It's not going to kill me one time if there's a little bit of vinegar on the table. I'll use some vinegar and some lemon juice or whatever. Or if they have sides and there's no butter on it, I'll order a couple of baked potatoes. But once again, the food is not the focus. It's the socializing. But it was always like that even before this lifestyle. I would go to have dinner with a group of people, or I would go to a cookout or a gathering. Maybe it's not in a restaurant. Maybe it's at somebody's house where there's going to be, it's one of those type events. Maybe you're watching sports. Maybe it's a barbecue. Everybody else is barbecuing. And, it's just, for me, it's not all about the food. I just go there to hang out, have a good time. And I would have done that even before. I was notorious. That's probably what got me so drunk at a lot of parties back in the day, is I would go to a place where it was supposed to, everybody were cooking out on the grill and doing this and that. And I'm walking around talking. I'm just walking around with a cocktail in my hand. And I would just nibble a little bit. So, I would just, if there's any one theme in all this rambling that you take away from this today, is I would say don't put all the effort on when you're out. Fill yourself up ahead of time to the best that you can. Not every situation that's going to work, but if you can, just think about before I walk out the door, could I get a little bit something more on my stomach that will last, that will keep me from needing food a little bit longer? And once again, stay hydrated. Carry some water with you, because I'm telling you, when you start getting dehydrated, it can mimic hunger. And a lot of times, and even if it's not necessarily hunger, it's not hunger, but it's just your stomach. But a lot of times you can drink like a lot of water, or a big amount of water when you're feeling that hunger, and it almost fools you. It feels like, okay, well, now I'm not hungry anymore. It's not going to keep you not hungry forever, but it gives you a little bit more time. But anyhow, just a little, like I say, some rambling stuff. This isn't really my forte, but a number of people had asked me questions about this, and I get this about the social part and out and about all the time. So I figure I might as well kind of give it from a different perspective. I mean, before I did this, I did a search and I watched a bunch, and most everybody else does it like preparation and doing this, and this. So this is just crazy old Jack's method. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, give me a thumbs up and have a great weekend. Peace.